Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Malikicowtipper, going to be bringing you another game of StarCraft 2. Today my opponent will be buZZy, so let's jump right into the replay. And let's see what happens here. I didn't preload this map, I only played the match about 2 hours ago. So, go, 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 go. There we go, so buZZy going to be spawning as the red Protoss over here on the 2:33 o'clock position of Metropolis, versus me, Malikicowtipper, representing Blue Zerg, in the, we'll go with 827 position, that's right. None of this 830 crap. 827 position over here on Metropolis. So, the reason I picked this game is it's a little bit of a longer game, but definitely well worth the wait to stick around. There's just a lot of good play in this game. There's a lot of cool things that happen, and I thought it was well worth putting up on YouTube just to show more or less some strategies that as a Zerg player that you can do against your Protoss, and just little things that, you know, you do, and most of you probably even do every game, and you might be thinking, well, why do I do these things? And I'll show them to you in just a second, that it can really make the difference between winning the game and losing the game. I'm going to bring up the income tab right here. We're both 9 on 9. This is pretty standard play. And on Metropolis, if I can scout it and find out that my opponent is not, as you can see, sending out the Overlord and this drone right here. So right now, I know that my opponent is not in either of these locations when I see his probe coming over here. So that to me means that we are cross positions, which means a very long rush distance. It's not quite easy, especially for a Protoss or a Terran, to move their army across this map. So for me, that's going to mean a fast expand. I absolutely love this build, just because it gives, like, I did a lot of 14 extractor, 14 drone, 15 pool kind of play, and it's a solid play, but it puts you in an expansion far too late because you invest a lot in tech, and it just really feels like to me that if you, as a Zerg player, you've got to really play off a 2 base almost right away, because you can, if you go 1 base, you got to get your queen initially there. I tried to snipe that drone, and then at that point, even having that queen on that 1 base doesn't quite give you enough production to keep up with your minerals, and you end up with a lot of unspent minerals. You can see there goes my expansion. Right now is probe not able to delay that, so that definitely makes me happy right there. And when I finally get my drone over here to do some scouting, I go into a little bit of a panic mode because I see that this gateway's already up, his cyber core is already down, and I'm like, wow, where is my spawning pool? So it's not too far off realistically, but I supply cap myself, and I didn't show you guys that, but that really stopped me from getting that down about 10 to 15 seconds earlier. But the long rush distance, even if you were to chrono boost out a Zealot or two, by the time you got over here, I could, you know, have Zerglings out on the field, a queen, and I could probably hold it off. And if he did apply early pressure, I'd probably just throw down a spine crawler. But something I'm getting a lot better about is doing this fast expansion, remembering to put my gas up, because just because you fast expand doesn't mean that you won't want gas. Whether you want to transition right into Roach and apply early pressure, or fend off that early pressure, or if it's Terran, go, or Zerg, go for that Bangling Nest as soon as that spawning pool is completed. And in this case right here, what I like to do is grab both of these bases, if you can see, hotkey them to 4, and then set the rally point right out here in front of the base, because there's a lot of room to move. And then, as you can see, now that spawning pool is up, if we check the production tab, I am pushing out 8 units worth of Zerglings just because I saw that, and it was a little bit of a panic for me. But this is a really interesting build. When I ran into his base, I didn't quite know what to think of this, seeing a Twilight Council going down so early. That's something that you usually don't see in the first 5 minutes of the game, but there goes a second gateway. He is working on getting that warp gate technology out. Slipping on the chrono boost a little bit, could be using it for +1 weapons or for that, but you know, that's really just a small thing. But if we check this out right here, this is something that as a Zerg player you got to look out for. Protosses going for this 1 base build will be fully saturated, up and running in 5 minutes. 5 minutes flat in this entire, all the mineral patches, all the gas, or at least all the gas could be ready to go. It's very typical of most Protoss, which means that the push will be coming at around the 8 or 9 minute mark once I've had time just to dump that minerals at the beginning. And if you take a look at this, 26 harvesters to 18, my Zergling panic, the expand, and then throwing down the Roach Warren as well, has all kept me from droning up right here. And I do have a decent amount of minerals. I could be spending that. There's some larvae here, there's some larvae there, 7 larvae, wow. And I supply cap myself, so just totally awesome right there. That's why I'm sitting on those minerals. But I like to position this Overlord back here. You can always use this. If they don't put anything over there, there's no reason you can't pop a Nidus over there and just run in here, blow up a bunch of tech, blow up a bunch of workers, run Zerglings in there, just cause a lot of havoc. So right now, I see that I've got a lot of Zerglings out on the field. I've got a Roach out in the field, and I don't know, let's check this out right here. Go over to this. So, I have seen what's going on. What I did is I sent out a scouting Zergling earlier, and I actually missed it. But what's kind of cool about this right here is I catch that pylon with my Zerglings right there, and I've got a couple Roaches. I'm going to send them out, and I'm going to take care of this pylon. You want to drop that proxy, because now that these warp gates are up, if he starts flooding these units right into your base, I mean, literally, game over, just invite Bill Paxton right into your house. But this is cool. Hole in Zealots, the Zerglings sneak right on through. This is something that as a protest player you never want, because look how fast these guys are. But, you know, good play. He's already got charge research, so he definitely intends to use these charge lots quite a bit. He pulls his drones back to safety, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to snipe out his forge, just because it's an open, it's an exposed building. These Zealots have to go a long way around to try to get to me, and a forge is low health. This doesn't take that much to bring down. And he didn't even get a chance to cancel his +1 weapons right there, but that is going to be a pretty big setback. You know, that can make a big difference if it comes to a push, but his proxy's down right here. Now the charge lots are out. I'm just going to run these Zerglings out of here, because they've done what they can do. I did actually manage to kill quite a few Harvesters, if you noted beforehand. He was at 24 Harvester, 26 I want to say, now he's down to 21, so sniping a Forge, sniping some Harvesters, all at the cost of some Lings, and building myself a little bit of safety. I'm totally cool with that. I've got a good number, healthy number of Roaches out in the field. I love them with their new 4-range upgrade. I've been using them quite a bit more. So, I've got my lair up and running, and as soon as I get 200 gas, I'll more than likely be teching straight to Aspire. Now, this is kind of a cool play over here. He's going for a Ninja expansion. Now, at a big map like Metropolis, I've seen this done quite a few times beforehand, because it's just a good play. Because a lot of times they're like, oh, they gave me my natural right here. This is where I need to expand. Some people are like, well, there's a gold right here, but it's really open. You can attack it from 3 different ways. This is just a cool play, and it's all going to depend on whether or not I see that, whether or not I can scout that, because that's a relatively fast expansion, but so smart, because putting it down while he's going to be making his push out here right now. So if we check out what's going on, and I'm going to go back to the everyone and pause it for just 1 second. Take out the unit. Check out the units right here. 18 Zerglings and 10 Roaches versus 9 charge lots and 3 Stalkers. So, the thing about the charge lots is they'll run in there, and then they close the distance between the Roaches almost immediately, which throws the Roaches into melee combat, which they're really not that good at. With their speed and their creep, and when they're on creep, you can still micro the charge lots, because they can only use that charge once every 10 seconds. So my goal here is going to be able to try to take out the Stalkers, and then go for the lots after that, and hopefully use the Zerglings just to soak up some damage. So run in there, get a surround, focus down that Stalker, focus down that lot right there, and then right here, this isn't half bad. So there they go, they charge, but then micro them back, just keep on doing that. And then I'm going to send the Queen in there just because she likes to scratch the hell out of stuff. And right now, 2 Stalkers versus a Queen and 6 Roaches. That's going to be my day. I'm going to take that one. If we check out the units lost over here, and see that I definitely came out on top right there. Killing all those Zealots was just a nice little pickup, but his expansion is down. This one's looking very good over here. He is chrono boosting out. See, check that out. That was about 4 minutes ago when I did that attack, and +1 is still not done. That +1 could have made a big difference in this battle. Throwing down a starport, 2 Stargates, wow. I didn't know he threw those down quite so early in this match. And I'm going to be doing a tech transition. It's going to be interesting to see what he goes out here with. Now, I could be doing a way better job at spreading creep. I've got a couple creep tumors down, and it's really important as a Zerg to get the creep down. I know I've said that in a lot of my games. We go back to the income tab right here, 34 to 29, so I'm really not doing a very good job at macroing up on these 2 bases. If we go over to the production tab right here, I do have my Spire up and running. I have a couple Zerglings out, a couple Overlords. I've been bad about supply capping myself in this game. Pretty hardcore. So more Zerg, more Roaches, and I think I've just kind of got a military mindset right now where I figure I just won that engagement. Maybe if I get some troops out, I can push out. And right here, I sent out another scouting Zergling, and before he can get any troops over there, I'm taking out these units as they warp in. They're incredibly vulnerable, and every time, you know, you kill one of these things, you know, there goes a unit, there goes a couple pylons, and I'm forcing him to move his army back over here. So these are just the kind of things you need to be sending out your Zerglings. You need to be doing scouting with this kind of stuff. Otherwise, now that I know that expansion is here and his forces are not very large, I can apply pressure to this, and I can hopefully take it out before he can saturate it and have the benefits. I've got a Zergling sitting right out here in front of his base, and I've got an Overlord sitting out over here to help protect me from any air troops, but he's deploying Immortals, Sentries, Stalkers,